All right, how's everybody doing today? Jonathan from Jon Ford Woodworks here, and it's Monday, so I've got a cool tool for y'all. Today what I thought I would show y'all is my lathe. It's a mini lathe from Nova. It's their Comet 2 DR. DR standing for digital readout, meaning that this guy will show you the RPMs that it's spinning at digitally, which is pretty cool. This particular one is model number 46300. I do believe there's an older model that just doesn't have the digital readout, but it's basically the same lathe. You may still find that one, I'm not really sure. And I think they've also recently come out with an updated version to this lathe that they made some improvements on, but I'm not a whole 100% sure about that one either. This one though I've had for quite a while, and honestly I don't have much negative to say about it, but I do have a lot of positives. If you've never turned wood before, I really cannot recommend enough trying it, because it really is a blast. It's fun. There's a lot involved with getting into it, but not really. It can be really pretty therapeutic, I think. You know, lathes run really quiet, so unless you're using dust extraction, you know, it's something you can come out and do without a lot of noise. And sometimes I just will turn a piece of wood, not even really sure what I am attempting to do. I just enjoy turning wood. So if you've never tried wood turning, I highly recommend it. And if you're looking to get into wood turning in a mini lathe, that's probably the way to go. And this is a really good option. This particular model, I'm going to put a link to one in the show notes. I believe they're right around just under $500. But a really well-built machine. And one thing cool about Nova is, although they do make other machines, and they make really nice drill presses and other things, they're very much a lathe-focused company, meaning like tons of accessories out there are made by Nova. So, albeit all those accessories probably fit in most lathes, it is kind of a convenience that if you get a lathe from Nova, you kind of go into it knowing that there's tons of accessories that will fit it without having to even think about it. So to give you a couple quick specs on this particular lathe, which I can't remember my own name most of the time, so I can't remember any of that. This lathe has a 3/4 horsepower variable speed motor. It has 3 speeds, low, medium, and high. The low speed is going to be 250 RPMs up to 680. The middle speed is 530 RPMs to 1420 RPMs. And then you have a high speed, which is 1380 RPMs all the way up to 4000. It's really easy to change the belts for the motor. You just sort of unscrew this little latch here, or screw it a lot, and you can access your belt and pulley motor stuff right there. I personally pretty much live on the middle speed. I've never had a need to go to the high speed or the low speed. I mean, I kind of find that 530 RPMs to 1420 RPMs is for me anyway, has been a good range from everything that I've tried to do with it. But you do have the ability to shift the belts in 3 different positions for 3 different speed ranges. This particular lathe weighs about 77 pounds without the bed extension. Of course, there is a bed extension. You get 16.5 inches between centers with the standard bed, and then you can increase that to 24.5 inches with the extension. This lathe has a 12-inch swing over the bed, so you can basically turn anything that is 12 inches in diameter or smaller. For a mini lathe, I've maxed that 12 inches out with an uneven chunk of wood, and it turned it with zero vibration. The lathe didn't bounce around. Very solidly built, very strong. I mean, the whole thing is made out of cast iron. It really is pretty heavy duty for a small lathe at its size. What else can I tell you? Tool rest is, well, it comes with a 6-inch tool rest, and the shaft diameter is 5/8 of an inch. The accessories that will fit into your head and tail stock are Morse taper number 2s, so very strong and sturdy there. On your tailstock, your quill travel is 2 inches. All the spindles are self-ejecting on either side. With this lathe, you get the spur center, you get a tail center, and I also got the Nova G3 chuck with the lathe. I'm not sure if that's something that I just happened to luck upon or if that's how it comes standard, but I did actually get this particular chuck, not minus the pin jaws, but I did actually get this chuck as part of the lathe, as well as a set of their little super mini turning tools, which I don't use often, but it did come with them. Super easy to use. You know, your tail stock, excuse me, slides effortlessly. Lock it into place. You can move your quill, like I said, up to 2 inches. Move it back, lock it down. All the levers and handles are super easy to adjust, as well as your thing here, which I totally am flaking on what this part is called. It's the thing that your tool rest sits in. Moves around very easily, locks down, put your tool rest. This happens to be the one that comes with the lathe. I don't love it. I've since bought other ones, but it's perfectly serviceable. Same deal though, lock it in, biggity boom, you're good to go. On and off switch, RPM speeds. One of the things super cool about this lathe that not all have is it has forward and reverse, so you can spin it either way. It's not really necessary, but being able to spin it in reverse, I personally find makes sanding easier, but you don't really need it, but it is a cool feature that it does spin in reverse. Very easy to adjust your pulleys on your motor if you want to. It's got a latch to loosen the motor. You lift up, change your belt, tighten it back down, and you're back in action. Did I miss anything accessory wise? Well, I guess what I should say is that this is one of the, I think it's cool. I think it's a good idea. I don't know if they executed on it well. This particular lathe has what they call the Versaturn system, which allows you to remove your thing that spins on the back here, and you can attach various accessories to this part of the lathe. They have a bench grinder that you can attach to it, and I believe there's a few other accessories. So if you don't have a bench grinder and you're interested in getting a lathe, you can almost kind of kill two birds with one stone, because you can get a bench grinder that attaches to your lathe, and then you got a lathe and a bench grinder. So there's that. So anyway, yeah, let me bring y'all in a little closer, and we will play around with it a little bit. Okay, so hopefully I am not a talking crotch. I can't really figure out a way to get all of me and the lathe in the shot, so I'm not really sure how this is going to turn out, but we're going to go with it. So again, this headstock motor in here comes with this, which can be removed, and right here on this coupler is where you have the ability to attach your Versaturn accessories. Self-ejecting headstock. Drop the thing. Okay. Depending on what you're doing, that is the spur center tailstock that comes with the lathe. Like I said, I also got the G3 chuck when I bought this one. Same thing with the back. If you want to eject, you just knock it out. You also get your tailstock with the lathe. And again, it came with a 6-inch tool rest. So, little piece of wood I've been working on that we can just to play around with. If you're using your center spur, generally I would hammer it in. Lock down. And off we go. As I mentioned, super quiet. Again, the digital readout gives you a very quick, easy way to see how fast you're spinning your lathe. Do you need to slow it down? Do you need to speed it up? The tool rest is easy to move and adjust however you need to move it and adjust it. Again, speeding it up, speeding it down is just as simple as and again, I am currently using it in speed 2, which is between about 500 and 1400 RPMs. And then of course, as I mentioned, you can switch it around and it spins in reverse, which is really cool for sanding. It just makes it, you can come at it different ways, makes it easier to sand. But yeah. All right, so there is the Nova Comet 2 digital readout mini lathe. Again, Nova doesn't know me. I bought this with my own money. It's just a piece of equipment that I have enjoyed having and think is a really great lathe. If a lathe is something you're on the market for, if you do end up getting this lathe, it's one of the things that I've never seen before, and albeit it's in the instruction manual, I know not everybody reads it. So if you do end up purchasing this lathe, be known that the motor needs to be broke in. So when you get it, you want to run the motor without a load on it for about 45 minutes to break it in. It was one of those things that luckily I happened to catch it in the instruction manual, but it's not like they flash it at you. It's just sort of a sentence among all the other sentences that says, oh, by the way, the motor on these lathes has to be broken in. So important to keep that in mind if you do end up purchasing this particular lathe at any point, that the motor has to be broken in before you start using it. Other than that, like I said, it's really great lathe, super solid, really well built, comes with tons of accessories, has had all the power. Like I have not yet had it not handle what I tried to do with it. And again, just wood turning is super fun. In fact, I've got some future videos planned where I'm going to just kind of give my opinion on some of the things that go along with wood turning once you go down that rabbit hole, because getting the lathe is the first step, but then there's all of a sudden all the accessories and attachments and turning tools, and how do you sharpen those turning tools. And so I thought I might do like a video here soon, kind of about some stuff like that, some of the things that I learned over the years, some the hard way that maybe I might can help somebody else not go through. But when it comes to the piece of machinery itself, if I have missed anything, or if anybody has any additional questions about this particular lathe, I'd be glad to answer them. Or any wood turning questions in general. I'm not a wood turning expert, but I would definitely be glad to help with that as well. And I think that's all I got. So again, my name was Jonathan from Jon Ford Woodworks. It's always a pleasure seeing you guys on Mondays as well as other days, because I do have a lot of other stuff other than just Cool Tool Mondays coming down the pipe, so stay tuned for some of that. And thanks for watching. If you'd be so kind to like, share, and subscribe, that would be awesome. And yeah, until next time, everybody be safe out there, and I appreciate y'all watching. Bye. Now I'm gonna go eat lunch.